Hey there, my name is Ben Frear. I'm an immigration lawyer for entrepreneurs. And oftentimes in my practice, I receive calls from people who are interested in the E2 visa for a marketing agency or some other type of service-based business. These potential clients are usually concerned about their initial investment because these types of businesses do not require a large upfront investment to become operational. And I completely understand this concern. There is a common misconception floating around that you always need to spend $100,000 before you can even consider applying for the E2 visa. But let me tell you, that's not always the case. In fact, many consular posts that I've worked with are perfectly fine with investments under $100,000 as long as you have a solid plan to make your business profitable and create jobs. And that brings me to the case study that I want to share with you, which involves a gentleman from Israel looking to kickstart his branding and marketing agency right here in the US with a modest upfront investment. When he first reached out to me, he was a bit lost on where to start. So we explored the E2 visa and the concept of changing status, weighing the pros and cons of each option. Now, generally, I recommend the E2 visa for travel flexibility, but sometimes, especially when wait times for interviews are long or uncertain, applying for a change of status might be the smarter move. So we went over all this, and while this gentleman was weighing his options, the conflict in Israel and Palestine occurred, which created a lot of uncertainty around interview wait times. Therefore, he decided to apply for a change of status with USCIS. So let's briefly talk about the numbers. My client spent roughly $30,000 on advance rent, $20,000 on marketing and consulting services, $9,500 on office supplies and equipment, and $7,000 on professional fees. With this investment, he expected to generate about $400,000 in revenue and create 4 jobs in the first full year of operations. With all the documents in hand, we filed his application and opted for premium processing. We did receive an RFE asking for additional information regarding the source of funds and the at-risk investment, which is not uncommon for a change of status application. And after providing a response, my client was approved. This status will be valid for a period of 2 years. So essentially, this approval opened up a 2-year window for him to operate his dream business in the US. And in the meantime, he can apply for an E2 visa through the US consulate in Tel Aviv. When the interview date comes up, he can travel to Tel Aviv, attend the interview, and if all goes well, he'll receive a visa that's valid for 2 years. So you may be asking yourself, why would he even bother applying for the visa if both the visa and the status are good for 2 years? And this is why. A visa in his case means greater freedom and flexibility. When you have E2 status and not a visa, you'll lose this status, with some exceptions, when you leave the United States. When you have the E2 visa, you'll receive 2 years of status each time you use it to enter the United States. So for example, if my client wants to travel back to Israel, he will lose his E2 status. If he had a 2-year visa, he could use it as many times as he likes during the validity period to travel back and forth between the US and Israel. And each time he uses it to enter the US, he would receive a fresh 2-year period of status. This is true regardless of how much time he has left on the visa. If he had a 1.5 years of validity remaining, he would receive 2 years of status upon entry. If he had a 1.5 months of validity remaining, he would receive 2 years of status upon entry. So it's totally worth the extra effort for him to apply for the E2 visa. I hope this case study was helpful. I'm really excited for my client. He's a great guy, and I can't wait to see his business thrive in the US. Please remember, this video is intended as general information. If you are interested in the E2 visa or E2 status, I highly recommend that you reach out to one of the many amazing E2 visa lawyers that you can find across the globe. And finally, if you did enjoy this video, if you found it to be useful, please like it or pass it along to someone who may benefit from it. Thanks for your time.